What's up? What's up? It's your boy JC coming at you from Bangkok, live, day number 10. I'm gonna put out a little bit of information about the type of equipment I'm using. I'm a minimalist. I keep it simple. So I use I just run through the equipment list real quick. I do have a very nice Nikon, DSLR camera. Haven't even broken it out. Haven't needed it. I am also using a GoPro, which is what I'm recording on right now. It's a GoPro 7 white, the entry-level model. I could have spent $200 more on the black, but just really wasn't necessary. I'm not trying to live stream to Facebook or whatever, and the only other real big thing was the new digitalized stability. And after taking my my white for a test run, strapped on my shoulder, shoot, it's really not that big a deal. I'm not riding roller coasters. I'm not out there on a dirt bike riding over all kinds of little washboards and things like that, where there's so much agitation that stabilization is required. Additional stabilization is required in order to keep the viewer from becoming sick. In fact, I gotta say, by all accounts, the 7 white is essentially a GoPro 6, for half the money. So, didn't come with a data card, but that's fine. I was able to pick up, I believe it's 128 gig SIM card at, it was in Best Buy. I picked it up before I left the States, and I think it was $30. Maybe it was $37. But still, under $40 for 128 gigs, I was stoked. I went in there to buy a 256 gig SanDisk for, I don't know, $35. They didn't have it in store. I didn't have time to do a rain check and all that. I could have got it online. Didn't have time to wait for it to arrive. I was, farted around, waited till the last minute on a couple of things. And I did have a data card, but I just didn't feel like it was big enough. Because, well, nothing worse than running out of data. So the 128 gig has been sufficient so far. In fact, I've turned the camera on and I have walked it until the battery has died and have not filled up the 128 gig card. So there's a little food for thought. I did buy a kit that has it's a non-GoPro branded kit. I bought it for like $15 on eBay. No, not eBay. Amazon and on Prime. So bought that before I left. It had a bunch of attachments and extra little arms and things for mounting, to mount it out of the way. One of the best things, two best things I think it came with, was the clip that I used to attach it to my my backpack strap, and a suction cup set up so I can attach it to walls, glass, tile, whatever. Put it in the car for doing a road trip. Came with a small tripod that has the flexi legs, so you can wrap it around poles and just set it up in unusual positions where the surface is not flat or continuous. Yeah, those are a couple of the best things. Did come with a wrist strap, which I've not put to use yet, but it looks fairly sturdy. And it's got a couple of nice adjustments on it, so that if I was doing something a little more action oriented, I believe that the video would be pretty tight on that too. Also came with a flotation handle. So as you may or may not know, the GoPro 7s, they're all waterproof from the get-go, so you don't need to buy the extra waterproof casing. Although I will say I can understand why buying the extra casing would still be a good idea to protect your camera against unexpected shock and drop. So, but I'm not doing that right now. One of the more expensive things that I purchased to go along with my GoPro camera was an actual GoPro extension stick. This is a 3-way extendable, and it comes with a built-in tripod into the handle, which you just unscrew, flip over, screw it back in. Stands up on 3 legs. It's pretty handy. I use it folded up a lot of times when I'm not using my clip. But I break it out and put the little tripod up and set it down, and it's great for when I'm recording from the kitchen table or another stable surface. where the height, is correct. Booming the thing out with the tripod down, not a good idea. The weight of the camera will just tip it right over, even if you've got the legs, turned around to maximize your front loading. So, but yeah, that was about $70. There were cheaper off-brand stuff. In fact, the little kit that I bought came with a little selfie extension pole, but made out of cheap metal and whatever. And it's such a long trip, so much recording to do. I just thought it was best to go ahead, bite the bullet, and buy a product branded by GoPro that would do the job. And so far, I have been extremely happy with this. I also use the GoPro app on my phone. Had a little trouble with getting it to work the second time. I got it to work the first time, then my phone took an update, and then I came over here and it was acting a little sketchy and stuff. So quick tip, I had to, remove the camera from the GoPro app and remove the camera from my Bluetooth and I believe it automatically removed itself from my Wi-Fi after that. And then I opened the app up and repaired it, and so far so good. Don't always need it, but there are times where it's nice to set the camera up and then you don't have to reach over to press the start button, and you can just remote control it from your phone. Note to GoPro, it would be extremely helpful if I didn't have to have an internet connection in order to use the app. Also, I'm in town. I am in Bangkok, and I lose GPS reception on a regular basis when I'm near, under, or on BTS and MRT stations, or actually riding the train. So forcing the app to have both a Bluetooth, GPS, all three, and the Wi-Fi connection all simultaneously working, just so I can use my phone as a remote control for the camera that is right in front of me. A little ridiculous, guys. I get it if I'm uploading the video straight from camera through my phone to the cloud. I totally get that. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just capturing it on the camera, and I'm using the app as a remote control. So forcing me to have all three aspects in order to just use it as a remote control, kind of ridiculous. Also, GoPro is used by a lot of adventurous people. Forcing them to have all three of those types of connections if they're out in the middle of nowhere and they're sitting down to do a monologue of some sort and not in action mode. Again, real inconvenient. Not real considerate of how an end user is actually using it, and how an end user is a lot of times not in the vicinity of a Wi-Fi connection, not in the vicinity of a stable GPS. I agree GPS should always be working, but I'm in downtown Bangkok and I lose GPS signal. Not really clear why that is, but that's some real shit. So, I love your products, man. Love them. But that is an inconvenience that it's not always ongoing, but when I'm trying to use it and it's posing a problem, yeah, it's a problem. It's a huge inconvenience. Should just be able to hook it up and go, and not be subjected to, oh, it's not working. Oh, maybe it's the GPS. Maybe it's something else. Who knows? Anyway, that's my experience so far. What am I editing with? I'm editing with Filmora. Breakdown. Spend the $60 or $70 on a lifetime subscription if you're on a PC, and go. I'm been a hardcore Mac user for many years. I've done a ton of work with iMovie over the years, and iMovie is very straightforward. It has all the tools that you need to produce nice videos. Filmora is the closest product that I have seen. I've demoed a ton of stuff. And I use the paid version because I get all of the extra, I hate to call them extras, you get access to all of the other filters and scenes, music. Sure, you can add your own music, that's great, but it's also nice to just have a bunch of stock stuff to pull from real quick. Transitions, ton of transitions in there. It was totally worth the $60. I got no qualms about it. I have a nice HP Envy that I work from mostly. I really don't use my Mac that much anymore. And yeah, it works relatively well. couple of times I've dropped in some, 15-minute long clips or 3+, gigs or whatever. And, yeah, it got a little unstable and kind of locked up, and Java shut down, and, I've had to restart it a few times, but, a way around that was I just started a separate scrub file, what I call a scrub file, and I would just go in there, drop in these huge clips, essentially chop them down, to the parts that I wanted, export those out, and then just pull them back into Filmora, as a much smaller clip, because I was dropping in, 3, 4, and 5, 15-minute clips at a time, and it was just choking. But Filmora is a product that they're constantly working on to improve. There's a series of video tutorials on YouTube, which I may put a link into the description box so you can find that. Otherwise, don't be lazy. Search for yourself. I had to. But yeah, cool videos, and I think there's some more. There's some videos that are doing more advanced stuff. But I'm already coming to Filmora as a power user. I did use Final Cut Pro a few times, and for the type of work I was doing, it was a little bit over the top. Great product. The professionalism and the quality of it's superior. You really can't beat it. But for the price and the learning curve, it was just too much for this trip. The Filmora, it's filling the bill. Filmora, not the only product out there. There are free products or other products. I probably tried a half a dozen things before settling on the Filmora. So, and it's made by Wondershare. So a couple of times getting to the website and trying to download it initially was kind of weird. I had a couple of issues with it, syncing my account after I had paid for it. Which Filmora, why force me to have an internet connection to use my editor that I have paid for? I understand you might want to connect and check, see if there's an update, because I have the check for an update once a week turned on. But if I was out in a remote location with no internet, are you telling me that I would not be able to produce my videos and export without the watermark and stuff? Come on. That's my only gripe so far. Is that if my internet connection is a little sketchy, that Filmora acts kind of sketchy, doesn't give me access to all of my tools. So if you could address that, maybe create an offline mode or something, that would be great. So that the user is totally aware that they're in an offline mode. I'm not sure what your reasoning is for forcing, the connection to be available other than authorization. But, between the MAC address and a couple of other items, authorizing without being online shouldn't be an issue. Yes, people are always going to try to hack your product. Yes, I understand the need to protect your IP, but again, think about your end user. If I'm out on a 2-week trip in the desert, I don't want to wait until I've come back into civilization before I start chopping and editing and putting out video. I want to work on it as soon as I can get to it, while the memories of what happened are still fresh, while what I need to edit down, from my recollection in my mind of what was shot well and what wasn't, is still fresh in my mind. Not 2 weeks later once I'm finally back in civilization. Yes, there are tools that'll give you internet out in virtually the middle of nowhere. Some of those are so ridiculously expensive when you're off the grid. Cost prohibitive, people, cost prohibitive. So, that's the rundown. Also, I'm going to tell you, get a passport drive, 4 terabytes, under $150. You should be able to catch them for about $100. Note to Western Digital, why are you charging me an extra $20 just because I want a blue case? What is up with that? I don't really understand, but blue is my favorite color, and I had to pay an extra $20 to get the blue. Could have gotten orange, yellow, or black for $99, but no, it was $120 for blue. From Amazon, on Prime, I didn't have to search it out specially. When I selected the color blue, the price went up. Is there a shortage of blue dye somewhere, or blue plastic? I'm not really clear on that, but, think about that. Ubiquitous pricing. Color should not make the price go up or down, okay? That's ridiculous. But, all in all, I got to tell you, I'm extremely satisfied with the products that I'm using, and they are getting the job done. If you don't believe me, you're watching my videos now. So, if you like what's happening, hit the like button. If you really like what's happening, smash that subscribe. You know, if you really, really, really like it, you can bang the bell for your notifications. Do it, don't do it, I don't care. Tune in, don't tune in, I don't care. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. That I always appreciate. If there was something you would like to see about my here in the Bangkok area in particular, while I am here, something you would like me to cover, let me know. I'm only here day 10. I'm here for a couple of different reasons. Just to let you know, I'm here for dental work. I've had a little medical incident with my foot that is prohibiting me from getting out and doing as much as I would like to, as soon as I'd like to. But I'm here for such a long time that it's not going to be a problem. I'm going to be covering temples and other tourist-related places that are not necessarily touristy, but they're definitely things that a tourist who appreciates being off the beaten path a little bit would appreciate. You know, temples is not necessarily the first place that your average tourist is going to want to go, especially if you're, have no knowledge of Buddhism or the history of Buddhism, or even the faintest idea that Buddhism has been around and in continuous practice long before the bloody Christianity surfaced, and became a word on the ass of humanity that it is. Anyway, from Bangkok, day 10, this is your boy JC, enjoying myself, enjoying the food, enjoying the weather, enjoying the people, loving the people, loving the people. But, like New said, that's a reflection on me as much as it is the people here of Thailand. So, take it easy. Peace out.